Jumeirah. Namaste. Welcome to the 4th Industrial Revolution, TechXAfrica, an event hosted by Niche Integrated Solutions. I would like to welcome our MC for the day, Ashik. Some of you know him from Niche. For those that don't, Ashik is one of the young, inspiring entrepreneurs at Niche Integrations.
TechX 2018, TechXAfrica is finally here. Apologies for the delay, the show is about to commence.
That is great. I hope you enjoy the tech conference.
If you look at why does every government department, why does South Africa look at innovation so seriously, is because we look at innovation being a catalyst for economic growth. And we are all sitting and trying to decode what is this 4th industrial revolution, how it's going to impact on our lives, etc. And for me, the 4th industrial revolution, all that it's looking at is creating more value. We've got projects where we're creating electricity out of wave energy.
Peppa, are you shy? Awesome.
Now, if one look at the African context, the kind of budgets to really drive sharp-end technology creation, like a new pharmaceutical or a new silicon wafer or whatever, that takes big money. We tried a lot of times, a lot of it never really got off the ground, wasn't proven to be financially sustainable.
I think it's people, because as an entrepreneur, you need to take care of people. If you're not, as Barlow aptly pointed out earlier today, trying to do something for the betterment of society and for the betterment of lives and people, then it's actually pointless trying to do anything at all. In today's world is, how do I dramatically innovate? Enter Tony, who looks after our very new technologies like IoT, AI, blockchain, of course. He's an evangelist in the blockchain world. And then, of course, basically an executive would ask another question is, how do I provide products and services that are disruptive in the market?
Peppa, are you shy? Awesome. These cameras make me nervous.
I know, make me nervous too.
TechX has been full of knowledge, information, just a well-rounded learning experience for everybody that is participating at the moment. So far, it's looking very good.
The services that we provide globally, we provide engineering services, IoT, big data, fintech, and also smart city services. In relation to the implementation of that technology in Hong Kong and what we're taking globally, in that yes, IoT and applications are core to delivering services that are meaningful to people in the market. When you think of a usage, you think of an application. I'll talk about some applications at the end of the presentation.
We have 100 high-risk alerts. We run those high-risk security alerts through the threat engine again, and then we're able to get to 5 actionable alerts. So we went from 250,000 different alerts that might be on my system down to 5. We're looking at SOC in the new age with these systems. The SOC is no longer there just for the reactiveness. It's there for proactive fault handling. We have a 24/7 SOC. We are able to go in, detect the issues using the platform.
Just to throw money at it, or does a mind shift needs to happen in the leadership?
You know, great technology remains a great concept without impact if we do not have the skill, the mindset, and definitely the leadership to drive it. All too often we see examples of how big corporations will set up a disruptive or innovation division that sits outside of the main organization, so the disruption happens outside so that we can maintain the status quo inside.
So therefore they're going to push hard and invest into it. So you find in your other areas like farming and health and everything else where their profits are a lot lower, they won't have the research money or the ability to actually take things further. So they have to wait for that technology and the solutions to come down to a price and maturity they can take advantage of. So I think we're starting to see the beginning of it, but also they need to see what is the benefit of it. So, we're starting to see in the medical area, maybe we can put wearables on all everybody so we can monitor them and see how the health goes and everything else. That's really cool, but all your wearables cost a lot of money.
Most of the larger companies are actually investing in pulling together small SMEs and actually investing in their own R&D facilities, and they're engaging SMEs to develop new technology services for them. For example, the HSBC Bank has R&D centres throughout the world where SMEs are encouraged to be part of that particular solution. Or you're having situations I mentioned in China where the government's funding an R&D centre to bring in SMEs. Because I think the opportunity for innovation and is really SMEs working out new ways to take the data and technology to actually create some benefit. It doesn't have to be significant, but a benefit can result. So I think you're seeing a lot more partnerships between large companies and small SMEs to deliver an ultimate solution.
It must be rooted in the strategy and the purpose of the organization. So all the technology that we decide to buy, the sort of investments that we want to make must be rooted in the things that we want to achieve as an organization. Unless we do so, then we really do have a problem. I think one of the highlights of the previous slides really talked about skills, because as we buy this new technology, one of the big shortages that we've got, and because things become a lot more complex with the things that we do buy, the problem is how do we have access to skills? So I do think one of the big areas that we have to focus on as organizations, as a country as a whole, we have to start training people for digital, because it is one of the biggest things that is an inhibitor to getting companies to transform for digital capacity. So my big area is that we as an organization, we as a country have to take purposeful steps to train, and I know South Africa is an importer of technology, but we've got to take decisive steps into training our people in the organization in these new technologies before we jump the gun and actually buying technology.
In comparison to what our mines are doing in South Africa. Obviously in South Africa we are driving the job creation profile. So we have this huge truck being driven by drivers, and the whole human factor comes in as part of that. In Australia they say directly, we want automated driverless trucks. We want to get people out of the pit. It's expensive, it's unreliable, it's exposed to all sorts of safety hazards and things like that. So I think on a region by region basis, different value systems will apply. The bigger problem comes in. We can say that in South Africa we want to provide jobs. But if in the process South African ore gets more expensive than Australian ore, the big consumers like the Chinese are not going to say we're going to buy from South Africa because they give people jobs. So at the end of the day, the bigger economic ecosystem must also be balanced against the shorter term job providing sort of imperatives. So yes, there's a tactical solution, you can buy more, but ultimately one must face the bigger challenges and find strategic solutions to them.
Person next to you and tell them you look good today. And you look good today, and then tell them you look better today than you did yesterday. All right, so thank you again for that, and we're going to move on with the program. We don't want to keep you much longer, but we will move now to our next come, Mr. Steve Pinto, who is CEO and founder of New Reality, who will talk us through virtual and augmented reality. Let's put our hands together for this fine young man as he will come and address us on augmented reality and virtual reality.
Anyone know what this is? Did anyone have one of these when they were a kid? Now, this is the same principle as stereoscopic vision. There's two images on either side of the card, but when you put it inside of the cabinet, you're looking through the viewfinder, you can see an image with the perception of 3 dimensions. These two individuals are trying to understand how the piping system in their factory is working. This man is training how to work in a dangerous environment, and this medical student is looking at the human body without being close to one. Education has skyrocketed because the quality of education is what deems the price of it. How does that democratized environment work? How would we want to educate more with less costs? Unless we embrace technology and we try to level the educational playing field. The future is going to be interconnected. We're going to be able to jump between virtual and augmented reality as we feel. We're going to be able to overlay digital information at our own control. We're going to be able to be empowered and not locked away by keyboards, the mice, the plastic devices in our pockets that display information and lock us off from reality. This is what the world looks like right now. We're glued to these devices. They don't empower us, they constrict us. We always look to this piece of glass, this piece of plastic, this display. We look at it as the only solution that we can get to connect to the rest of the world. And this is just a scratch of the surface. Because when technology catches up to a point where we can interact with it with our hands and with our fingers, that's when things will really change. Right now, if you ever want to induce a mass amount of hysteria, show someone this picture. And that is the future reality.
A common thing between them all. And what is that? Is their dependency 100% on data to drive their business, right? So they didn't come up with the new technologies or new solutions. They are capitalizing and consuming the data in a way that help them to generate more revenue and to innovate more and provide so much different solutions to the market. Gartner mentioned a few points there. It's either the lack of experience for that company, the lack of resources that can handle that journey, and the lack of the knowledge of what are the outcomes of that journey will be. And these barriers actually prevent some organizations from taking that step forward and to start their digital journey. Hitachi took an initiative to start helping each and every organization in multiple industries to start benefiting from their data. Another example is for Hydro-Québec, where they monetize their meters, their electricity meters, by providing the customers a new insights and the new services based on how they consume the electricity in their houses or in whatever. So this is how the data transformed certain organizations, and it helped a lot of customers really to convert the data and to capitalize on the data as their new assets in different industries and also in different kind of capacity. By that, these are the main unique propositions for such technologies. It's not only for our products as Hitachi, which we call it the whole platform called Pentaho, but it can be also implemented or applied in different platforms available in the market. By that, I am done with the presentation. I hope that I gave a high level of how the data should be managed inside the organization and a best or practical roadmap of how to start taking your data journey inside your organization to start getting outcomes out of it. Thank you so much.
On the other hand, would you be able to show me your fun side?
I do like to dance as chic, but I don't like to dance by myself, so you will have to join me as chic.
Thank you, Peppa.